has the casual market left the hardcore behind and taken away their influence? Before I give my 2 cents, I'm going to kick it to my co-host. I want to get her raw, unfiltered opinion. Go ahead, Trice. What you got?
Short and sweet and simple. I think, and I'm not even trying to put this in a shady light, because this is every business across different platforms. They will have a core. The real money comes when you get the casual to buy the product. So this is not like a game exclusive. So this is all across business. If you can get the casual in, and when I say casual, I don't mean like one or two. I mean thousands, millions of casuals. That's when your product really pops off and you see the most amount of income across the board, not just gaming. So, and because of that, and because it's such a money-driven, industry, like no gaming company make games for free to not make money, right? So, yes, it's unfortunate because games are being made not for the people that brought it up until this point where we're at in 2025. The hardcore gamers that's bought multiple systems over the generations and have bought all the games and been the reason why some of these new IP titles, like when Call of Duty first came out, it was the hardcore gamers that made it a thing, and then it grew into this disgusting thing that it is now because of casuals. Because the casuals got picked up on, and so they tried to market it for anybody too. I can't stand when they say, "Oh, this is for any and everybody." Bitch, no, because not any and everybody plays video games, dumbass. So it's not any and for everybody. But they love to say that. It is a shift once a studio starts gaining casual fans, and so their mindset starts shifting away from hardcore gamers, quote unquote. And the casual gamer will buy the game, probably play it because of FOMO. Oh, it's on all these social medias. I see all these gamers, streamers talking about it. Oh, let me see what's up. They poke around every now and then they pay they $60, $80 for it. They'll probably buy a couple, DLC or whatever little things, nickel and dime things that game companies do, and they'll probably drop it and move on. While the hardcore gamers are left with a product that is just subpar. And that's kind of the toxic relationship that hardcore gamers have with gaming studios right now. And they have with casuals, because casuals do dictate a lot of things that go in games. And they dictate how things are released in the state. And casual gamers really don't care about, this game was really just released on the 35th anniversary just a minute ago. But let me go ahead and just spend $70. Like, the casual gamer ain't paying attention to stuff like that. And, especially kids. Kids just know they want the latest thing that's on the market. So if that Pokemon game costs $100, they gonna complain to that parent until they get that $100 Pokemon game. It's a mix of all those things. And it's, like I said, gaming is really in a shitty position. And I'm really scared for the future of gaming and where it's going, and how all these indicators point that it's not going to get any better, probably going to get a lot worse. So that's just my initial thoughts. And not saying that casual gamers, I'm not trying to say that casual gamers can't become hardcore, because they could find a game and stick around, but the likelihood of that is very low. It's a fucked up toxic relationship between hardcore and casual. It's kind of like the hardcore gamers get left with this shitty bag and shitty situation that was not made for them. No, like Borderlands fans that's been around since Borderlands 1, hardcore gamers already know, like, hey, this is the minimum thing I expect from Borderlands. But because so many casuals probably buy the game, don't give a fuck, they're just here for a short time, not a long time, they buy and don't give a fuck, and don't even know about Randy's the CEO comments. Like, they probably never hear what he had to say, and that he's really talking shit about anybody that buys the game and have a problem with it. They probably never hear that. And that's another thing too that kind of separates casuals and hardcore gamers. Like hardcore gamers are probably listening to this podcast right now, while casuals, they don't do the research. They just see it's new and shiny, so I want to buy it. So it's a real toxic dynamic, and it's a dynamic that's not going to go anywhere. It's here to stay. And honestly, it's probably one of the biggest contributing factors in why the gaming industry is what it is right now. But let me hear what you have to say.
So I feel you are 100% accurate and on the ball. The casuals taking away the influence of the hardcore market. Once upon a time, gaming in itself, in its entirety, was based off of and made for the hardcore. You know, your D&D people, the guys that make their spreadsheet on, you know, their mages, the pen and paper RPGs, the text-based video games. Gaming used to be frowned upon in a sense back in the mid to late 90s. And then somewhere along the way, somehow, and this is just my opinion on it, I believe Nintendo is the one who opened the door for the casuals, sought after them, and then everyone else was like, oh, there's money to be made by the guy who, you know, is made play a game 1 to 2 times a month as opposed to the guy who plays it 5 hours every day. The Wii took off with tremendous success. And you saw people who did not play video games play video games. You saw parents buying the Wii. You saw doctors buying the Wii. You saw tons of people just getting into the hobby for the first time, and they were blown away with like, oh, this is fun. And you saw Microsoft, that's when they pivoted to go to the Kinect. PlayStation with their, I think it was called the iToy, the weird little camera accessory that you could purchase. And in doing so, like you said, the casuals is the masses. That's the big pool. Yeah, your hardcore gamers are the ones who set you up for success, and they're the ones who tell the casuals what to buy, what's hot, because they don't watch the gaming news. They don't pay attention to reviews. They don't do any of that. It's the hardcore that fuels, or at least who used to fuel, the casuals. And somewhere along the way, now everything is made, or at least steered toward the casuals, because that's what the mass market is. That's how we get these conversations on Souls-like, and Souls games should have difficulty settings to them. Oh, this game is too hard. You need to lower the difficulty so I can play it. And as you said, every game ain't for everybody. Everyone wants to make sure they stretch their game as in many markets or across the board as possible. You know, that's when you get difficulty tweaks. Oh, this boss is too hard. All right, we'll lower the difficulty so you can play it and beat it, and then you'll tell your friend and he'll play it and beat it. And that means more people buying it, more money we make. Because, you know, the hardcore people, your Gears of War, your Halo 3 players, hell, even Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto, as popular as it is now, was not the cultural phenomenon that it was back in the day. Yeah, it was huge to gaming circles. Anyone with enough sense, if they would have said, hey, you know about that new GTA? They'll think Grand Theft Auto, the crime, the misdemeanor, which is now a felony. I'm like, I don't do crime. You know, I obey the law. Now, everybody and their grandmother knows about GTA. Everyone from the librarian to the guy who builds ships in a bottle knows about Call of Duty. Hardcore audience used to tell the casuals what was good, what was not, what was great to play. And in pushing for better games, the casuals, they dictate a game success, not the hardcore. Mm-hmm. Because now everything, quote unquote, and you'll hear this, they love to say this, you know, we make sure our game appeals to a broad audience. That is a corporate way of saying, hey, we make sure from the lowliest nerd to the mechanic, the cop, just the tire, who plays Candy Crush when his partner goes take a leak. Everyone can play this game. And to me, I feel it has been the detriment gaming as a whole. No one wants to push the envelope because, I need to make sure, you know, everyone can play this. Why? Everyone does not play all types of games. First-person shooter gamers, and those are some of your real hardcore people right there, they will not play a RTS. Your sports players, you will not catch them playing a story-based driven RPG. That ain't happening. But yet for better games to make more, let me hear you say, gaming has dumbed itself down to appeal to the lowest common denominator. Now, let me correct course real quick. I'm not saying being a casual gamer, that's not bad. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that at all. There's nothing
But
wrong with you wanting to wake up. Hey, you got a few hours before you got to go to work. You try to get in a round of Call of Duty. You play whatever it is on your cell phone. Gaming is gaming. Let's get that straight.
but at least come into the relationship with a little standard. Like, don't accept
Absolutely.
any and everything. And that's the biggest issue. They are not part of the boycotting. They probably not even part of the mass returns when games really fuck up. They will stick with the IP till they're done with it, and then they move on to the next. But there's like you said, there's nothing wrong with being a casual. But baby, let's partner up. Let's be in this relationship together. Standards. And that's all most hardcore gamers want from casuals. Have some standards, man. Learn how to say no. And hold on to your little
Absolutely.
dollars. Don't put your dollar behind every type of bullshit ass game that come out. That's all
I'll
I'm
give you a
saying.
clear example, a good, clean example of a franchise going down to chase the casual route. There was Pokemon Sun and not Sun and Shield. I'm sorry, Pokemon Sun and Moon. I think that was the last Pokemon game for the 3DS. And one of the things that people complained about it the most was its cutscenes. It was very heavy dialogue and its hand holding. At this point, Pokemon is a phenomenon. Who the hell don't know how to play or know nothing about Pokemon? But to make sure, and some people argue, well, the kids play this. The kids. Okay, yes, that's true. But don't insult children's intelligence. You got kids who can take apart an iPad with one hand, fix whatever problems they have, and slap it back together and hand it to their parent. Like, yeah, there you go. Go check your Google Mail, ma. But Pokemon Sun and Moon, people were saying that the series was getting too easy. There was hardly no challenge into it. Nintendo started implementing an experience share to where it was no longer an item, a consumable in your thing. It was just it was almost a feature that you turned on. If one Pokemon battled, everybody got experience. Yeah, they didn't get the bulk, but the main one who did the battle, but everyone got the experience, and that carried on into Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet. And now it's easy to play Pokemon. Now you want to get into it
Yeah.
and make some eggs and breed this Pokemon. They have streamlined the process so much to make sure not only is the layer still there for the hardcore people. I have a buddy of mine who will breed egg groups in Pokemon for hours until he makes sure and he gets that secret egg move, that hidden ability, and everything like that. They still have that for the hardcore, but for the casuals, just want to come in and use Earthquake to beat everybody and get their badges and move along. That's what they appeal for, and that is probably still why, with all the complaints of Sword and Shield, Scarlet and Violet sold so well because the casuals don't know like frame rates, draw distance. What's a draw distance? I draw in the game. They don't know what that type of stuff means. They don't pay attention to what they should be expecting from their product versus what's given to them. The same thing with Call of Duty. Call of Duty used to take itself so much serious than what it does now. Between all these skin packs and the collaborations, the fart jokes, and some of the unlocks like they had, I believe, Jay and Silent Bob as a skin pack that you could wear in Warzone. Since when?
They had a Nicki Minaj thing for Call of
Oh,
Duty, and I was like,
oh,
what?
yes. And you know what? That skin probably sold. They probably made millions off of that from the casuals. They're like, oh, I know Nikki. My daughter listens to that. Let me run around and play as Nikki and shoot someone in the face. And they thought it was, oh, yeah, this was cute. This was entertaining. And they fell for it. The casual market has hit everything. I would even say, hell, even your 2Ks and your Maddens. Another thing we talk about here on the channel, the dying of sports games and the rise of the microtransaction. Your casual market don't know a damn thing about what should be working and fixed. All they know is, hey, this new sports game came out. I watch basketball. Oh, it has an updated roster. Okay. But it's the same shit slop you had the year before and before then. It has eroded the influence because now when a game is made, and instead of them listening to their hardcore audience, of them telling them, hey, what's wrong with the game? We have these issues and etc. But the mass market, the casuals is like, yo, I'm having fun. I'm just killing somebody. I love the game.
Unloving
Add more
somebody.
skin. Add more skin. I'll give you $5 for a red dot, or I'll give you $20 for this skin for my horse. That's what they're going to listen to because, excuse me, another problem with the casual market, they're the loudest. Your
Yeah,
hardcore
that's
gamer,
true.
he has an issue with something, he'll maybe voice his concerns to his buddy and he keeps playing the game or he moves along. The casuals, your casuals are the ones who are quick to pick up their phone and
Yeah.
type on
Twitter
Twitter.
fingers. Yeah.
Yeah, post an Instagram a picture like, "Hey, this guy killed me. I can't make it past this level." Granted, it's the first level and not the main boss, but it's a sub boss. And then the game will get dumbed down. Your hardcore feels some type of way, but to the developer, they're like, "Hey, we sold 20 million copies, and we expect only to sell probably 4." Because the masses picked it up. And that's kind of where gaming is going. A lot of the quote unquote modern gaming slop is to appeal to the little guy because there are more little dudes than it is of the big one. Hell, that is the only reason EA and Battlefield have changed course with Battlefield 6 because the game has fallen so far from grace, so far of what it used to be, and have realized the detriment of appealing to the casual is the casuals will leave you very, very quick. The hardcore, and that's why Battlefield 6 has made the changes that it did, has made the turnaround that it's doing, listening to its true hardcore audience, and has stopped chasing, forgive me, Call of Duty fans, but stop chasing the dream of outdoing Call of Duty because Call of Duty is successful because of the masses, the casual market. The guy that only plays on Friday and Saturday night from his long week at the office, and Sunday he gets his QED reports, he gets his suit pressed, and etc. He plays a little Candy Crush or Clash of Clans on his phone, and he goes back to his work week on Monday. Battlefield 6 is a complete turnaround. The last game, I think it was 2042, and they are constantly listening from the hardcore audience to bring its success back. Like what you said, I agree. Casual market has outvoiced, outshined, and clearly spended the hardcore market. Now, there are some developers, some games, some franchises that still have not lost their way. In hindsight, it's the masses that control a lot of the moving parts of these industries, your movies, gaming, etc. And this is where we are now. Anyone in the comments, let us know how you feel. Are you a casual gamer? And again, like I said, hey, this is not to poke fun of or mock or whatnot anyone. There's nothing wrong being casual. Even myself sometimes and everything going on, I don't game as hard as I used to when I was 15 years old. You got bills to pay. You got mouths to feed. There's nothing wrong with it, whether you're hardcore or casual. The point is, play the game. Play the game.
Play the
All right,
game
let's
and
move
have
on
some
to
standards.
right.
Listen,
Have some standards.
play the game, have some standards. It's not about the separation of casuals and hardcore. It is about banding together when things are wrong and when games are broken. And when we as consumers, for the money that we are paying, should more from the product. Unlike what the CEO of Borderlands 4 is saying, well, go code your own game. Well, as a community of casuals and hardcore gamers, we should all give him the fucking finger and tell him we ain't buying shit from you, and really stand on business 10 toes down together. That's why I say it takes a lot for the community to boycott, just because it's really hard to unify people. And that's with anything. I'm not just saying that in gaming. It's hard to unify people from all different backgrounds and blah 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 blah. As far as my request or my ask of any casual or hardcore, we just need to have some standards, because it's getting real nasty, and it's have been nasty outside for a long time, and I only see it getting worse. That's all I'm asking. Just let's all have some standards in making this community and making the product that we are given for what is now what, 70, 90, $100. They're really comfortable raising the price and lowering the things they do for the product. And we just cannot continue to allow that as a community.
And that's it for this video of Are You Not Entertained podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell so you'll never miss our next hot take. Until next time, are you not entertained?